All right, we are live. Good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk RC with myself, John, with JMH RC, and Gabe RC Basherboi, and we have special guest Troy from Roadside RC.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
What's cooking?
Yes, I'm excited for tonight. Been looking forward to this. So, we've got, looks like a few people on already. So we've got Troy with Roadside RC. We're going to be doing a channel interview with him, asking him some questions. So people watching, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll try to catch them ourselves. And but we do have a list here. And Troy, I appreciate you getting on with us.
Oh, of course. Hey, it was great. I mean, it was great. I appreciate you guys reaching out and
Absolutely.
And offering for it. There's a lot of times that I'm the jerk doing the snide comments in the comment field. And so, yeah, it's going to be highly entertaining to be on the other side of it and listening to what everybody else has to say around it.
Absolutely. And Canada RC, thank you for joining. Paul Pittman, Canada says he loves watching your Ecto updates.
Hey, it's been great. That truck's actually been really fun. I've enjoyed having it.
I've enjoyed watching it. I know we were just discussing this, the Ecto a little bit before we come on live, and I'm really impressed with that rig myself. And Canada does ask, and I don't remember off the top of my head, what tires did you do on the Ecto replacing the stock ones?
I ended up going with the Proline trenchers, trencher 1.9 crawler. Can you see it here? I'm actually, let me slow back.
There we go. And I made you bigger there too.
Okay, there we go. Yep. So we did the Proline trencher crawler tires, then the Predator compound. So it was actually one of the first times I've used the Predator compound on any of my crawlers. Truth is that they're doing really well so far. I have another video coming out where, I did the servo. That video came out this morning. I have another one where I just recently did some crawling at Big Buddha's RC Ranch, the place I typically go for places. And man, this truck continues to surprise me. For what you get out of the box with this truck, it really, really does well. And I was surprised how much difference just these things made at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, I told you I drove Exo Caged RC's Ecto. He put trenchers on his, but he did the G8 compound, not the Predator.
Yeah.
I never ran on the trenchers before. And I was impressed with the trenchers on the weight of that rig. I will say, from what I know of the Predator compound, I do think you went the right way with the Predator compound. I mean, they were good on the G8, but I bet the Predator is just where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would assume, but they always, I think they could be too soft, like especially depending on where you are and what surface you're on and everything. I think there is a chance that the Predators can get too soft. Feeling Proline has a pretty decent idea of what they're talking about when they say, I forget what, when you go look at G8 versus Predator, you say there's like a temperature cutoff of where you want the one and the other. And it's a pretty low temperature, if I remember right, like 60 degrees or 70 degrees or something like that. But I could see that maybe they get too soft in the Predator and you start folding the lugs over and stuff. But I don't know. I was impressed with them so far. I liked them. So like I said, it's the first time I've gone Predator, but I even used these Proline trencher crawler tires on my dad's Red Cat Gen 8, but in the G8 compound. And I'll be honest, when we first got them, when Proline first came out with them, I was pretty skeptical because, like, at least where I am in the Middle Tennessee area, a lot of like heavy rocks, but we're also moving some dirt and stuff like that. And I was super skeptical that these would not just immediately clog up with dirt, especially any kind of, when you get any kind of water or anything. I was like, oh man, these are going to be bad, but they really don't, especially if you have any kind of wheel speed in the truck, to where you can zing and throw it out. That seems like it helps out a whole lot.
I'd be curious if it's possible at some point. I would love to see you do a comparison with your TRX4 Sport with the stock modified tires, which I love the Canyon modified.
Yes.
I actually compete with my comp rig with those tires. Like, I really like those tires.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see these trenchers and the Predator against those and see, better is I don't know, because those canyon trails, they're so underrated in my opinion.
Yes. And hey, don't tell anybody, because that keeps them really cheap for you and I to buy.
Right? Agree.
I mean, I see there's literally a set of 4 of them on eBay mounted to the stock TRX like sport wheels for like $27.
Yeah, I need to snatch those up.
I think literally up here, I have like 3 sets of them stacked in my, because, I'll go buy a swap meet and somebody will be like, yeah, I bought the truck, never even put them on, like $15, I think everybody just assumes they're junk. So
my 6x6 has them on there.
Yeah.
Obviously my TRX4 Blazer has them because it came with them. And then I also put them on my original V1 Gen 8. So, I have quite a few of them myself. And they have been fantastic. So, RC84 Films, welcome.
Good evening.
So, for any of the ones that have just joined, tonight with Let's Talk RC, we're doing a channel interview with Troy here from Roadside RC. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. We'll try to catch them, and we're going to start asking some of the questions here.
Well, wait. Before we go any further. My friend JMHRC, okay, I don't know, I'm not doing his subscriber count as of right now, but he is close to 700 subscribers. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, if you're not subscribed to JMHRC, or also if you're not subscribed to Roadside RC, or if you're not subscribed to myself, yours truly, RC Basherboi, subscribe to all of our channels tonight. That would definitely help us out. Yep. But tonight, the main event, it is JMHRC. So let's help them out with those 700 subscriber mark. Come on.
I'm literally at $6.99 right now. Appreciate everybody who's been following me. Appreciate that. I literally remember when I started at like 46 subscribers. So it's weird. I'm sitting at $6.99 at the moment. So
it feels like a price tag, $6.99 plus tax.
Right. Right. Agree.
So, come on.
Awesome. Yeah, man, you're definitely going to get that 700 tonight. We're going to make that happen. Let's see what we can do.
Let's do it.
I think I saw there's a Paul in the comments was asking about the trenchers, just since we were just talking about those. He's asking, are they narrow or they just appear so? Paul, 100% agree. When I first got them, I was like, these things, they kind of look narrow, What's the story there? But they're really not. Maybe if we get a chance here, I'll try to grab some other tires and like try to set them next to each other so you can see them. But basically, they work out to plus or minus the same width as everything else. I think it's just the pattern kind of gives you an illusion, if you will.
And the foams will make a huge difference in how they appear. Like I have the J Concepts landmines, and in the stock foams that those come in, they rounded a little bit because the foams really filled up the tire and they rounded. So I changed out the front foams. Specifically when I took the tuning ring off, it literally allowed the tire to be flat on the tread, and that changes its look, Yep. And thank you, everybody. I'm at 701.
Woo, look at that. Man, we should have
congratulations.
Man, we should have been looking for 800. 800. Can I get a 750? What can we do?
Right?
Let's go.
Awesome.
Right now, JMHRC just said that if he gets 900 tonight, he's giving away a free truck. That's what I heard. I heard that.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, same here.
Hey, if I hit 900 tonight, I'll give away a truck.
Oh my gosh! Look at that. We just made it.
I will.
I should have gone higher.
Which one?
What's it? It's my what's it called? I haven't had it on the channel forever.
I'll help you out. I'll throw in a TRX4 Sport tonight. Let's go. Hell yeah. Right out of brand new in the box. I'll go to my local hobby shop. They have one there, so I'll hook you up. Why not?
You better be careful, man. You see that couch behind him there? He might be sleeping on that if he has to buy a truck to give it away tonight. We better be careful.
But so let's dive into some questions.
Definitely.
Gabe, you want to start?
Yeah, of course.
You start with before I'll take 2 and 3.
You got it. So before we start this interview, Roadside RC Troy, I am a true subscriber. I really do enjoy your content. And those of you guys that are watching here tonight, if you don't know who Roadside RC is Roadside RC, he does everything RC such as drifting, RC drifting, crawling, everything
Bashing.
RC actually. You even do FPV, bashing.
Yep.
It is a great channel, to follow. He even does, how-tos, and he installs parts, and he really goes into detail on how parts work and everything. So I highly suggest you to go check him out. And yeah, so we do have questions for him. You got it, man. You got it. And so the first question reads, what do you do for a living outside of YouTube?
Yeah. So I work for one of the largest tire and rubber companies in the world. So it is a tire company here based in Nashville, Tennessee, is the America's headquarters. I've been working there for 16, 17 years. Started as an engineer. I was a corporate engineer. So what that meant is I flew around all of our different manufacturing facilities and helped put in new materials, new things into tires, and help make sure that we could manufacture them good. Loved that job, but life's too short to just do the same thing over and over again. And so I ended up in project management, and I manage the process now that the company uses in order to bring all new products to market. So whenever somebody comes up with one of those wild, crazy ideas, hey, we should do this, they bring it to us. And we help shepherd it through and get it out to the market. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I've enjoyed it. I think 17 years now, something like that. So all
awesome.
Yep. Nothing too exciting. Great. I'm not like a wild tiger fighter, underwater welder. I'm not anything like that. I mostly sit at a desk. Yep. And my perfect physique can show that I mostly sit at a desk every day.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to do it. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So that was a softball. That was easy. All right.
Yeah. So the number two, I sort of gave you a heads up earlier, and this is really more for me because of what I was saying. The story on the Chevelle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a car guy. I've been into cars all my life. I have a play toy or a car that I've spent too much money into. Like, what's the story behind it? Is it something you've had since you were a teenager, or like what's?
Oh man, how much time do you have? This is probably one of the most frequent questions I get, in the comments, especially like, hey, we're doing it here and you can see it over my shoulder. Maybe what I'll try to do is, I don't know if you can hear me if I step away from my junk computer. But I'll try to stay in front of it so you can still hear me. And if my voice fades, yell at me. But I keep meaning to do this video, and I keep not doing this video. So you're going to shame me into doing it here live. But yes. So woo, okay, come on. There we go. So 1971 Chevelle. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can hear you.
Right. So 1971 Chevelle.
Can you spotlight him, John?
Oh yeah. Let me do that. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, 1971 Chevelle. It is. I grew up listening to my dad talk about stories of racing and doing all these silly shenanigans in the backcountry roads of Kansas, right? And so when I was somewhere around 12 years old, I started mowing grass. And actually that helped me at that time. I was also into RC at that age. And so I was doing a whole bunch of RC stuff. I was at one point I was mowing 5 or 6 yards in the neighborhood every week. And so money was rolling in. I could do some RC things. But then I got to start saving some money. I need to get something to drive, right? I'm the Tiger King in disguise. Oh man, I met Sean out at Axialfest. I was so glad I met him out there.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, that's that guy. That's a guy that, man, I like him more now that I've met him. So that's a really cool thing. Yeah. But so mowed grass for a long, long time, saved up some money, and 6 months before my 16th birthday, so I was 15 and a half, right? Halves matter when you're that young. Halves matter.
Yeah.
So it was a couple days before Christmas. And this Chevelle shows up in my dad's work parking lot for $2,000. And now I'm going to date myself because this has been a while. But pretty rough shape, shows up. My dad's like, hey, you have enough money for it? It's cool looking. It was not in great shape, but, this is something we could do. So we went, we looked at it. Turns out, dude didn't really want to sell it. But He went away on vacation, let his buddy borrow like his Suburban, driveways on a hill. Buddy parked the Suburban, didn't put the parking brake. Truck came out of gear, rolled down, stopped on the train tracks. Train came through, plowed his truck, completely demolished it, of course, because that's what trains do to trucks, right? And then, to make matters worse, the train company was suing him for delaying the train. Dude needed money. And so, right place, right time, 71 Chevelle became mine. But it didn't look very good at the time. Trying to make sure you can actually see it. Base, small block, 350 Chevy, automatic transmission, like nothing super special. Base model Malibu. As I bought it, had big MT tires on the back of it. Had big swamper tires on the back of it that were too big, so they had actually ripped the chrome off the fender because they rubbed.
Oh,
wow. It didn't have license plate on it, so we test drove it in the parking lot and noticed that the gas gauge was on empty. It's like, well, does it just not work, or is it truly empty? So we drive it across the street and start putting this is one of the years where the gas cap's behind the license plate, right? We fold the license plate down, and there's half of a beer can, I kid you not, half of a beer can stuck over the fill nozzle. That was the gas cap. So my dad's like, hey, be careful, don't fill it up too much, because obviously it points out the back. If we accelerate, gas is just going to fall all over the street. But we get to talking, next thing you hear is click, like, oh, it's full. So we carefully drive it home. Tires are rubbing the whole way. The whole car is just a mess. My mom is following us behind in another car, and at one point I was like, Dad, how fast really is it? We got to try it. So he nails it. I can't even drive yet. I don't even think I had my learners at this point. So he nails it, and we get home. My mom jumps out of the car. What were you guys thinking? She's yelling at us. What are you talking about, Mom? Well, you nailed it, and this stream of gas came out of the back of the car for like a half mile. I thought you guys were going to blow up, right? And
well, you left the
train. Might not have been super wrong, because we just continued to find things that were just crazy with the cars. Like I said, the gas cap at the back, the big truck tires on the rear of it, the starter wire, which is a high voltage, like important wire in a car, right? Was actually home speaker wire, which is dual strand that had been pulled apart with like bare spots on it. Like that was the starter wire. So my dad and I had really cool bonding time for about 6 months while we just did all sorts of stuff to it. So I went to the Bank O' Dad and borrowed some money to make it drivable. And so we spent 6 months rebuilding the interior, replacing all the belts and hoses, reworking the brakes, like all this stuff, just so that it wasn't a death trap, right? And ever since then, I was working on it. It was my daily driver through high school. Daily driver through high school, and I was continuing to mow grass. I was continuing to do all that other stuff. And so every time I got it, I would, every time I got a paycheck or something, I'd buy this week, I'd buy that door handle. And then next week after I got paid, I'd buy the other door handle. And I just kind of slowly worked on it like that. It was a show car and daily driver all through high school, started into college, decided to get a daily driver. And this is starting to get nice enough. So it started to stay in the garage a little bit more. Over time, it has been chromed out under the hood. Everything was chrome. Everything was shiny and car show. It has been a drag race car. So it was a 350 small block to start with. I stroked it to 383, put a Pro Charger supercharger on it. Like it made some pretty serious power at one point. So it was a drag car with slicks on it for a while, blew the motor up. That's what happens. Then it was an autocross car for a while, like literally me autocrossing a Chevelle, which is a terrible idea. But it has aftermarket brakes on it. There's basically none of the suspension that's left is actually Chevy anymore. It's all aftermarket suspension. But as you may know, it's a horrible autocross car because it's a big, really big, heavy car with horrible, even non-Chevy suspension on it. It's still not very good. When the 383 with the Pro Charger blew up, I actually bought a wrecked 99 Camaro for a pretty small amount of money. And I stole the LS1 out of that 99 Camaro and the 6-speed manual. So it's now LS1 with the 6-speed manual. It's much more of a just cruiser, have fun car. My camera and I are not really cooperating right now to be able to show you any more of it, but
it's lovely. We see it. We see it.
You're gonna guilt me into actually doing this video.
I now demand a video on the Chevelle. I just learned so much about obviously that car, and now I'm even more in love with Chevelles. I think they're great looking cars. Like I told you, my parents had a couple when I was a kid. In fact, I have a memory of being in the back seat with a baby calf in the back seat of a Chevelle. There's
a story there somewhere. That's what happens when you have a Chevelle. You carry
right, exactly. But just what you've told me, or told us just now, I definitely need to know more. We need to see a video. So I
definitely, I agree. I agree with John as well. So
we're gonna have to make it official now.
Yes.
All right.
Everybody in the chat.
I promise here on the live stream, I will at some point do this video.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome.
And I don't know if I may put you on the spot, but if this is possible, okay, if this is possible, can you do probably like a mild burnout? Something not too crazy.
Well, it's right, like that's part of it, so I've always like I said, I've been tinkering with this video for a while, in my mind, and like, what is this video, what does it look like, what are the aspects, trying to tinker of like, what does it look like, and there's got to be some driving video in it.
Absolutely.
There's got to be some, at least a hard launch, if not like a full burnout, something, right? There's got to be something.
I like it. I like it very much. So that's awesome. Yep. So the next question I wanted to ask was, do your kids like being on YouTube? And obviously it's a real weird world that we're in, and you got to be careful with having the kids on YouTube or too much and all this. And so, I mean, do they enjoy it? Do they want to be on it more? And I guess even from that, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, they could completely care less.
Oh, okay.
Completely care less. Yeah, it's really interesting. I kind of assumed there was a short period of time in which they thought like, oh, that's me. I can see me on TV. That's kind of cool, right? So that's the Rich D RC. That is my buddy here in Middle Tennessee that does a lot of the RC stuff with me. Nice. That is, yes, he is going to be a bunch of fodder of very entertaining comments down below for the whole.
Great.
Go ahead, look forward to that right now. Go ahead and highlight those later. By the way, he does some really, really crazy RC stunt stuff. Like he was one, we referenced it back. It was months ago. Look, we're going to publicly shame him. It's been a while since he's put a video out, but he did one. It's kind of months back. I remember I was on one of the Steve OD live streams or something like that. He did this one with a couple Arma vehicles, this like skate park themed one. It was really, really cool. It was one of the best ones out there. So it was really fun. Really good stunt stuff with his trucks. He beats them badly.
I agree.
But anyway, yes. So what was the thing? What was the question? The question was kids.
Yeah, talk about your kids. Yeah,
they just don't. They don't really care. I kind of assumed that they would. I thought they'd find it fun. They probably did for the first couple months. They were kind of like, "Oh, that's cool." But no, like the oldest would rather be kind of like helping me edit, but I'm too much of a control freak to help him do that. He helps me film sometimes, and he does some stuff along those lines. And I've made them a deal that they are part of Roadside RC. So when we do get the small amount of YouTube monies that we do get on a monthly basis, we do split it. We do split it to some degree, which is really good for the oldest because we've got him saving for a real car, not an RC car. So that's beneficial for him. But
he doesn't want the Chevelle.
Probably not. Don't know if I'd let him have it either. Right?
I understand that completely.
Yeah. I can just imagine the question, right? Like, if you don't want it, that's fine. I'll keep it.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, it's prom night. Can I drive it? Oh gosh. Oh man.
Nice.
So here's another. I guess this is more of a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So how or why did you start your YouTube channel?
Oh man, this is a good question, right?
Yeah,
This is one that I recommend that everybody actually thinks about, like hard,
of course,
before they start ever doing YouTube, because YouTube's serious, man. Like if you want to do it, you want to do it right. It's work, you know.
Absolutely.
And you got to get the why straight in your mind, and it's okay if it evolves over time too. Like it's 100% okay if it evolves, you know. And I'll say mine started really pretty simple. So I had been out of the RC world for a long time, and this is probably preempting one of your other questions, but I had been out of the RC world for a long time, was doing the Chevelle stuff. This is back when I left one out. So after I had done drag racing, and after I was doing autocrossing, I started doing open track days with it. So I live rather close to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the Corvette assembly plant is. And they actually opened up a Corvette owned full, I forget what it is, 2.2, 2.7 mile road course, like full on road course. And so I was doing a bunch of open track days with it, which if it's a bad autocross car, it's a really bad open track car. But it was one of those things where I wanted to spend more time with my kids, but taking them to like literally a hot pit lane at a racetrack all day long. Yes, trimming a T56, the T56 that would come in, see the question down there. It's the T56 that would come in the Camaro or Corvettes. And so so I was going there, but it wasn't one where I could it's not a safe place for kids, especially they were very young at this point. I think it was like they were 5 and 1 or something like that. Like that's not a place for kids. And so buddy of mine at work showed me a video of the X-Max, and this is when the X-Max first came out, 6S. And he was like, Troy, have you ever done RC stuff? Yes, I have actually in the past. It's been years, but it's, man, check this truck out. And I started looking at how big it was and how powerful it was. And that was just 6S model. And I was like, that's what I always wanted. When I was previously in RC back in like the 90s, dude, that's what I always wanted, was something like big, burly, stupid, powerful monster truck. Like, wow, I got to check this out. So got the X-Max. And as anybody knows who's owned an X-Max, the X-Max immediately makes you do ridiculously stupid stuff. And like, the first you jump it a little bit, like in your yard, and you do a couple small jumps like that, and then you're like, wow, I bet I can jump my house. Like it's funny how it ramps up very quickly when you have something like an X-Max. And so I ended up, I'd come to work on Mondays, and I'd be like, you guys wouldn't believe what I did this weekend. This was awesome. Like this truck, I did this thing and it did the stuff and it, oh my gosh, it was so cool, and they didn't believe me. So I was like, well, I'm going to video it and I'll show you. And so, I had a different channel that was just like my private account that I put a couple Chevelle videos and just a couple things I really wanted to share with like my family, and stuff like that, family and friends, nothing serious. And so I started to put a couple videos on there. And then, it just kind of evolved like, hey, this is kind of fun. My normal day life is fairly meticulous in engineering and that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of creativity in it. And this is kind of ended up being my creative outlet. Same time at which Kevin Talbot was pushing some of his, you too can be a YouTube star kind of stuff. And I was like, maybe I should try it. My goal all along, the why, because like you said, you gotta have the why. It's very important as the why. So my first why was just show people the cool stuff an X-Max could do, prove my coworkers wrong. Second part then ended up being like, I have a budget that I allocate for myself on a monthly basis of what I can spend on RC stuff. It's agreed upon with the family, all that kind of thing. And I'm like, could this replace that? Like, could this, enhance that or replace that? That'd be pretty awesome. Because there's work I need to do, like example to the Chevelle, and I'm not saving any money for it because turns out I'm buying upgrade parts for small trucks. And so, there's stuff like that. And it's like, well, can this help me with that? I hope it can. If it can, then that'd be great. And so that's kind of been my goal. That's been my why. Why. Have fun.
So briefly.
Talking too much.
You said that the X. No. That's awesome, man. I'm curious. So the X-Max came out like in 2014, roughly, maybe.
Maybe
I should say. Yeah. So that truck, when it came out, that made you, start a YouTube channel, right? So roughly in 2014, that's what really got you into RC again.
I think Roadside RC started. I'm trying to think. My first video on Roadside RC was like December of 17 or something like that. There's probably some really, really smart person in the comments right now. Pull up my channel and scroll back to the first one and tell us when it was.
Right.
Hey, you're all sitting at your keyboards anyway. Just go do it. Just come on.
Right. Let us know.
Let us know.
Because they will fact check
into JMH's RC giveaway that he's doing tonight.
Right. They will fact check us for sure.
Fact check
Definitely.
me. Do y'all realize how many times I'm lying? I don't know.
That's awesome. No, I love that answer. Actually, just it reminds me a lot. To be honest, reminds me a lot of myself in a way. So
oh, cool.
Yeah. So.
I see Gibbs says that great uncle built vets in Missouri. That's fun.
Yep. And I've been to the Corvette Museum just a few years ago. Got to go for the first time. I actually love Corvettes. I want to own one.
Didn't that cave in or something like that many years ago?
Yes, it did. It did. And they pulled all the cars out, and some of them are on display, still wrecked and demolished, actually, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. I've never. I don't think I've been back since, because I think my understanding is they've laid like a glass floor in, and you can actually look down and see where some of the hole was.
Yeah, there's one spot. There actually is a ladder. I guess there's a ladder for them to go down and inspect or something. And there's just a small opening. You can see the ladder going down, but the main place is looks like it did before. But then they have an outline. I can't remember what color it is. That outlines where the concrete or whatever broke and fell in, so you can sort of see what section fell in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But it was cool. I mean, I love cars in general. Just love cars, but I am definitely a Corvette fanatic. I want to have a C6 Corvette. I will have one actually. But so me and my son got to go do that, and he loves cars. So that was pretty cool for me and him to get to do that. Yes, Barbecue Altered RC. Yes, we're talking about the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green. So
I was scrolling back up here. I see CJ. He was talking about, we were talking about tires earlier with the trenchers and all that. CJ says that, I did some videos with the Gladiator, and it made him get the Proline TRX US MT. It's a horrible name. Really, really, really bad name. But it's the real name. It's the real name in real life too. So it's a bad name that it started with. But
yeah,
tires surprised me. We talked about the trenchers and how those kind of surprised me how they did. I'm half confident that as long as you have some level of tread with either the G8 or the Predator compound on it, the tire will do pretty decent. But yeah, those TRX US tires, nobody ever has them. Nobody ever uses them. They're not popular. You never see anybody having them. And, we went through all of Axialfest, all of it. We went through it with those tires on this truck, and it went over everything that a lot of the trucks around us would go over. So yeah, those tires are a hidden gem that nobody else will run. So you can run a pair of those, and you'll be the only one at your local place that has them.
Nice.
Hey, so Troy, I just checked out your YouTube channel here.
Oh, you did? Oh, you're getting a bonus entry. Okay.
So it says here you joined December 2nd, 2017.
Oh, hey.
So there you go.
There we go. Yep. You called it. All right. Yep. I guessed correctly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty cool.
Man.
Okay, so your X-Max, was your first newer grade RC, I guess is a good way of putting it, but you had done RCs prior. So what was your first RC?
Yeah, so first hobby grade, back when I was in my preteens, I think I ended up with the Kyosho Optima Ultima, off-road 2-wheel drive off-road race truck. square bodied and all that kind of stuff. It was bad. It was a really bad truck. But I don't have a lot of fond memories for like 90s RCs, and I know I probably just lost about seven, a good chunk of my subscribers. But yeah, I don't look back on like 90s RCs and talk about how great they were. Like, we've got it good right now. RCs have come such a long way, both electronics and design, that so I had one of those. There was a local indoor, I lived in Virginia at the time, and there was a local indoor circle track that ran the Bowlink Legends, or the RJ Speed Legends, or whatever the heck they're called, little Legend circle cars. So I had one of those for a while. I got another Kyosho Nitro 2-wheel drive stadium truck that I tried to race for a little bit. Turns out, my early teens, I was bad driving, and bad at tuning, and bad at everything. So mostly it ended up being me driving up and down my street and annoying my neighbors with my Nitro 2-wheel drive stadium truck.
Nice.
But I mean, toy grade stuff ahead of then, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Gabe. You got another one?
Let's see here. Oh man, the thing is, we do have a lot to ask you, my friend.
I know. I was told 18 questions, and I didn't realize. I mean, did you guys get my contract? It's $10 per question.
Oh boy.
That goes on our tab.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. Yeah. So, all right. So here's a question, Troy, that I am curious myself.
Yeah.
And it reads, what style of RC do you enjoy the most? I mean, is it on-roads? Is it crawlers? Is it nitro, if you have any? Tell us. I mean, what is, again, what style of RC do you enjoy the most?
Well, so like you said earlier, we do and I say it in the beginning of most of my videos, right? We do the bashing and the crawling and the racing and the drifting. I enjoy all of them. You will see that recently I've transitioned to doing much more of the crawling. The drifting stuff is ramping up right now because we just had a new drift track open up here in Middle Tennessee. And so, I have, we'd rather owe it to you than cheat you out of it. So, thank you, Kevin. So, I don't know if there's one that I specifically enjoy the most. What I have kind of started to transition to is the hours. It's like the ratio of work versus hours of driving, right? How much time do I have to spend working in order to spend time driving and having fun? And so, in that regards, the crawling and the bashing really comes up high, because it's very common to come back from a crawling and drifting. It's very common to come back from a crawling day and do nothing but like maybe, air blow it off a little bit to clean it off and stick it back on the shelf, and it's still ready to go for the next run. Same thing with drifting. You're not really breaking a lot of stuff. I feel like it's more rewarding a little bit, because usually if I'm changing something, kind of like, well, not today, I guess, as I mess with the Gladiator, but, in general, if I'm doing something kind of like we talked about with the Ecto earlier, if I'm doing something to the truck, it's usually an improvement and it's an upgrade. It's making it better somehow. It's not just, wait, I love my X-Max. I've probably gone through 20 shock shafts.
Wow.
30 control arms, like I've gone through, I've had it for years now. Like you said 2017, right? That's the same truck that's hanging on my wall that's been there since 2017. It's seen some use, and if you see some of my X-Max bashing videos, it hasn't just puttered around the yard, right? And so like it breaks stuff. And the first 3 or 4 times you replace the shock shaft on it, it's entertaining. The 20th time you replace the shock shaft on it, it's just something I got to do. It's like brushing my teeth. I'm not really looking forward to it, kind of thing. And so I've transitioned that way a little bit. I'd say the RC drag racing is similar for me. It's fun. You don't break anything, so that's a good thing. But the driving to sitting ratio, I'm not as much of a fan of. There's a lot of sitting around and waiting for your battery to peak, and then go try again. Right. Instead of just, it's not like you can just hot lap them necessarily and just do 100 runs, kind of thing. So, so that's some part of it. So that's kind of where I've been. Like, I enjoy the bashing, and I think it was Great Lakes RC recently. I put out a little bit of a bashing. I had that one jump video for East Tactics. So I think the contest is over now, but he was putting out a contest on a do one jump video kind of thing. So we did that, and I know it was like Great Lakes RC that was like, "Oh, look at you doing a bashing video again," and I was like, "Dang, am I really not doing them that much anymore that it's a surprise when I do them?" But that's just part of it. Is I've gravitated a little bit. Life's busy and kids and stuff like that, and I'm very fortunate here in Middle Tennessee that we have lots of, I won't call them mountains out of respect to the folks that are closer to Colorado and the Rockies, but we have lots of at least big hills that have rocks in them. So we're kind of made for crawling in this part of the country. So there's just stuff all over the place where we can crawl. It's crawler heaven, and we have, like I mentioned earlier, the Big Buddha's RC Ranch. If you watch my videos, you'll see that we're out there a fair amount. It's a really, really great place to crawl. So we have a lot of that ability. I'm not like, closer out there, maybe, the RC Basherboi, some of those areas out there, you see some mountain bike trails and all that with some crazy jumps, the rich duper bash style stuff. Like, we don't really have a bunch of that, have ramps in my backyard and things along those lines. There's one quasi BMX place that we can go to, but I kind of get bored hitting the same ramp over and over again,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where, man, I'm giving you way too long anythers to your questions.
No, hey, anything counts, man.
Absolutely. No, it's good.
Yeah, I'm going to charge you instead of the question by the word.
Oh boy. Okay.
And so, but yeah, so I've been just naturally gravitating towards the crawling and the drifting here recently. But there's a couple indoor race places for us, a couple different really good, nice race places for us right now that are really fun. And man, I'm sitting here talking myself into how I need to go out and destroy the X-Max tomorrow. So
sounds like it.
You really need to dust that off and put some fresh batteries on there and hit it. Yeah. And also, I do also enjoy that indoor track, the crawling track that you go every so often. I can't remember the name, but it's a local track of yours. I guess it's more of a hobby shop too that they have this venue. And man, all in all, just like myself, yourself, you have the ability of saying, okay, so today we're crawling, tomorrow we're bashing, tomorrow we'll do this, we'll do that. And all in all, man, it's just fun. I guess there's no right and wrong answer for that, but I'm with you on that. Sometimes you just want to crawl, sometimes you want to bash, and by the end of the day, I guess what matters most is that you're having fun.
Yeah. So. See, that's the guy right there. That's the guy right there that gets me in trouble and makes me break my stuff. You see that?
Sounds like he's ready for
he's ready to go, right? He's ready to go.
That's great.
Yeah.
He was with me the day we did a video called "The Death of the X-Max," and man, we took it to this one skate park. Rainy, wet skate parks are my favorite. Nobody else is around. You can drift and slide around. It's fun. Wet skate parks are the skate parks to go to. And man, we went to this one that we normally go to, and it was one of those. I don't remember if I did the motor upgrade to it yet or not, but it was one of those where it was just like, we are just going for it, like full sends. We puttered around, we did some stuff, we did some warm up, and then it was just like, just see what it does. And yes. It was broken chassis and everything before the day was over. But part broke and it fell off. Well, okay, well as long as the truck's still physically moving, we're keeping going. And we had quite the fun that day. Quite the fun.
Nice. So roughly how many RCs do you own now?
Ah, dang it. So this is not my fault. Okay. So we're gonna you asked me about the kids, right? So when we get into something, like, you gotta have my crawler, but then like both the boys have to have crawlers, and then occasionally like my wife might need one, right? So it multiplies a little bit. In general, I think I'm at 17.
Okay, all right. We're close to the same number, actually. So
yeah, it's not. I mean, you hear of crazier numbers. You hear of crazier numbers.
RC Basherboi.
Oh yeah, put me on the spotlight. Okay.
Yeah. We need to check back with you after a little while after you've counted them. Is that?
No, yeah. I don't even know. I'm at 60 plus, and see the plus. I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
See, I got into that, right? And so, you hear of people getting so many and all that. And I kind of started down that path. But then, we talk about the money thing and buying and having to fix cars, right? And sometimes it's not more money, more problems. Sometimes it's more cars, more problems, more tires, more problems. And I realized at one point, here I'm sitting here and I've got a wall full of broken trucks, and I'm like, I can't afford to fix all these things, And so I purposely kind of try to keep it around this number. Actually, I think I'm a little bit high right now. I think I need to get rid of a couple, just because it's just life. Finances and stuff. Like I gotta be able to afford to maintain them and stuff. And so, it might be about time for me to get rid of a couple of them.
KBRC had a question. How many videos do you put up a week to feed the YouTube monster?
Correct.
You post daily, right?
Not anymore. No. There was a period of time in which I did some. I will say that the number of videos directly has correlated to, of course, watch time, as makes sense, but then also like growth and everything like that, And so I think there's a whole series we could do around. I think way too much about YouTube, I think, and so I think there could be a very long answer to this. But what I will say is I try to make sure that I'm posting like twice a week. I found a couple days that kind of work the best for me to make sure I'm getting videos out there. I try to make sure that I get at least twice a week. So especially if I'm on vacation, something like that, I'll try to make sure I have a bank of videos so that I can make sure that I get 2, maybe 3 out per week.
Very good. Good question.
And now touching the subject just briefly, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, Roadside RC did have the Arma View It to Win It video coming up in this channel pretty soon.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. And remember, you can win an Arma that I'm actually, I send it on tour. So just follow it, and also I do have a video on my channel, all the instructions, everything, yada, yada, yada. But, so yeah, video dropping of that pretty soon.
And I didn't destroy it and all that kind of stuff. And I sent it to a new home with a new box and a new servo, at least in the box. I ran out of being time to put the servo in the truck, but I put the servo in the box. So I think Axialfest has it. And if the servo dies, he's got a backup already and that kind of thing. But I didn't destroy it while I had it. I was actually very nice to it. So Gabriel was shaming me earlier. So that video should probably be out sometime this week. But yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that video, guys. He did something a little different, I believe, than most people will do with that rig. So I think that's going to be a good video.
Yeah, took it to dinner, took it to a movie. Find out. Dun, dun, dun.
So I'm guessing you put a Zeus K 35 kg servo in the box with it.
It was actually not the 35. It was the 25. Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh, I cheaped out on you. But yes, I did put a Zeus K servo in the box just in case it died.
No, hey man, it's good to have goodies in there. Yeah, man. So I highly appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the video. Alrighty.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you letting me be part of it. I've reached out to you before. I've considered doing something similar. One of the things, you've done it with this, but there's one of the things I've really enjoyed. You asked about, what kind of RC part I really like. The drifting thing really is quite fun. I find it challenging, right? I found the drift, especially the rear wheel drive drifting, to be a really, really challenging thing. And I find that a lot of folks get into it and they try to cheap out getting into it, which means then that they have some subpar components, which makes the driving experience worse. The Rich D, he can confirm that because he and I drift together some. And once you get the right components in, it really makes a world of difference in how the cars drive. And so I've considered doing something similar to your tour with like a properly set up drift car and sending it to a bunch of channels and letting folks actually try what this is supposed to be like.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because so many people don't. But
I'm tempted.
How in the heck do I ship something like that we'll probably have like a fancy Futaba controller and stuff like that? Because I saw how your Arma came to me from Sean's RC, and let's just say if it had to travel 10 more feet, it might not have made it.
Well,
So,
see, the thing is, so Sean took care of it, but it stood at Sean's for quite a while, and due to what's happening in the world, and it just sat there. So all in all, man, you just pretty much, if you want to do this, my advice, and I'll say it here live, just hope it sticks, man, and get your people synced up, talk about it, and man, hope it sticks. That's all I can tell you.
I love the idea, I will say. I mean, drifting is a part of RC I haven't gotten into yet, and it's something I want to. I guess I don't want to enough that I've dove in just yet, but it's been something that's been on my mind probably for a good 6 months or more. And some of it's watching your videos. I mean, some of the Drift-O-Matic challenges you've done and stuff. I've seen those. Those have been awesome. And I'm picky when it comes to RCs. Like, I prefer personally to buy a ready to run. That's me. I just like to ready to run and then modify from there. But I also, looks matter to a certain degree, at least. Like, I've looked at the Red Cats because I do have Red Cats, but to be honest, I can't stand the bodies on the Red Cats. I think they're ugly.
Oh, they're drift cars?
Yeah.
See, that's a whole different kind, right? That's actually, so that's one of the most popular videos on my channel is all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive drift, because it's a whole different, there's just two different monsters. Both are fun. Some people hate on all-wheel drive. Once they get into the rear-wheel drive stuff, they really hate on the all-wheel drive thing. But I don't. I have both. They just have different purposes and different uses, And like I have the Red Cat Thunder Drift, as an example. One of the ones that you hate. I know. Thanks for just calling my car ugly. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, the body. I hear they perform really well.
Yeah, that's the ugly part. It's what's underneath that counts. So the But yeah, so that's my like hoon around, go to a parking lot, do big nasty power slides. I had the most fun I've ever had with that car is I took it to the skate park, and that was a absolute blast. Like literally drifting bowls and like drifting up and over spines and stuff. That was a blast.
Yeah, and I think I saw that.
Yeah, the car's cheap enough that if you break, it's like meh, But the rear-wheel drive cars get so expensive, and they're just not good at that kind of thing, And so it's much better for being door to door next to somebody, on a dedicated drift track. So they're just completely different uses, and both are fun. Both have their place. You just can't mix them up. You don't want to go out there and be like, I'm going to go do drifting, and you buy a rear-wheel drive, the MST ready to run, and then take it to the skate park. Like, it's going to be fun. You're going to go home very unhappy because it's going to be like trash, And you take that Red Cat Thunder Drift, and I take it to my local drift track, and I'm going to go home unhappy because it's going to be horrible there. And so those are so you just gotta have eyes open as you go in to know what you're trying to do.
Good to know.
And just to follow up to your idea, man, if you're considering people, count me in, man. I would love to see how, because I've never drifted RC before. I drifted in real life, but not in RC.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'll definitely count me in if you're looking for any people to sign up and
All right. Cool. Yeah, cool. I don't see anybody in the chat going like, wow, that's an awesome idea. I can't wait for you guys to do that.
I'm open to it too. So.
Everybody's just like, we're bored. Come on, chat. Come on. Either my chat's not updating or you guys got to bring something on here. Come on.
Yeah, they're a little on the weak side. Like sometimes we leave here and we're like, oh my God, the chat was phenomenal. Like the people are like killing it. They're a little on the weak side tonight.
Oh yeah, did you hear that? We're calling you guys out. Come on, ask some questions. Bring it on. What are you doing here? It was as long as it goes, I'm gonna end up saying something stupid and get kicked off the YouTube. This could be the night.
So on your YouTube channel, on all your videos that you currently have on there, what would you say? What video did you have the most fun filming?
Yeah. And look, every YouTube channel has their favorite, video. I'm sure John, myself, RC Basherboi. Yeah, man, think about it. Which one's your best video that you put out there that says, wow, you know what? This is a masterpiece. And why?
but none of them are masterpieces. You said, so the question didn't see you change the question on me, right? So you went from just fun, what was the most fun video, to like masterpiece now. But I've had a couple really good fun ones, right? And it's the ones where if my Rich D's still listening in, he always calls me out on it, because I get this like giggly laugh when we're just doing something just stupid, you know? And so that's usually with the bashers, right? Usually that doesn't happen with a crawler. Usually that doesn't end up happening with the drifting or the racing. If you're just doing something just utterly, you know, insane, it's usually with the bashers. So it's like that X-Max, Death of the X-Max video, where we just threw all caution to the wind and just had at it. I had a blast. One of the other popular videos that came up is I did when the Losi Super Rock Ray first came out. I picked it up and had some fun with it for a while. And I did see, there it is. See, he's still listening. Thank you, Rick. So I did Super Rock Ray versus X-Max Tug of War, and I did it with my probably at the time like 5-year-old or something like that. I think he was probably 5 as my younger son. And, you know, just in the yard, 2 8S beasts, just completely full throttle, just like tearing my grass up and just flinging it. You know, that was pretty fun. You know, that was he and I having pretty fun. And I've never been able to replicate it. That was my top video for so long that I was like, maybe I should do some more tug of war videos. I mean, I had fun. It obviously was fun. So I've done it again since with 0 results. Like, people just were like, meh. And it wasn't as fun for us either. So I guess, you know, that's always the thing, because what's fun for us truly ends up being fun for other people to watch too.
Right. So sort of going back to your kids a little bit, as you were just talking, it made me think of something. And that is when you go out RCing with your kids now, do you have to drag them out to get them to do it, or are they ready? Like, they're all for it? Like, you know, I have an 8-year-old. Mm-hmm. To be honest, like, most of the time I have to beg him to RC with me, you know, and even when he's in the mood for it, so to speak, 5 minutes and then he's over playing in the dirt or something, you know.
It's the same thing I tell my wife, right? Like, she'll say sometimes like, oh, I feel guilty for not being out there and doing it with you. And I'll like, no, if you don't want to be here, then stay home. Like, this isn't that serious. This is us playing with expensive toys, right? There's another 100 subscribers that just left. People hate it when you call them toys, right? Let's be honest, like, this is supposed to be fun. This is us playing in our free time with our free money, playing with toys, right? If somebody doesn't want to be doing that, then I have 0 pressure on them coming and doing it. You know, I want folks that are wanting to be around me to be around me. So that goes for my wife and my kids. I'll give you that. So today, again, that indoor track that's just opened up near us that has a drift track. That's the Arma Typhon rental place. It's called Music City RC. So if you ever come to Nashville, you can literally go downtown Nashville, race go-karts, drift, rent an Arma Typhon to drive around a racetrack. And then if you have your own vehicle, you can race it there too. Really cool place. But we got a couple Losi. Yes, Sean. We have a couple Losi Mini Bs that we picked up. Why? Because they're small and cheap, and so we can race the Mini Bs. We have the drift track there, and so I wanted to go do some drifting today. Hey, boys, do you want to come with me and race the buggies? Yes. Okay, then you come with me, right? But they changed their mind at the last minute and came before they were a no. They're a no. They're just a no. I mean, I don't pressure. Mm-mm. If you want to be in it, you be in it. If you don't want to be in it, that's fine too. Don't care.
Cool. CJ has a question, which he is, if I'm not mistaken, from Milan, I believe. And he's asking about the 10.3. How do you like the performance of the Gladiator after all the runs? I know we were discussing that, I think, before we went live.
Yep. Yeah. So CJ, great question. And so I'll be honest, this is an easy answer, and I'm going to make it too long because that's apparently the theme of the night. And so I was super skeptical, especially of the Gladiator and how long the wheelbase was and things like that. Super skeptical when my buddy, the Rich D, it's that guy, It's his fault again. When he got it in a trade. And I was like, oh man, that wheelbase is too long, body's too heavy. That thing's gonna not be good, right? Keeping it PG, and that's not gonna be good. And so, but he let me borrow it so I could do some videos with it, and I put some upgrade parts on it. And then came Axialfest, which, if you've seen my channel, you've seen videos of Axialfest. You could not have missed those videos because there was 22 of them. I apologize. There's 22 of them. And so, but what you'll see is the Gladiator was in at least easily half of them, And so I took that truck with me to Axialfest, and I continued to expect to be disappointed in it. And I never was. And it actually, anytime you go and do something like that, the who you're there with, you end up making some kind of bond with. So, the folks that I was there with, including the Sean's RC, and RC Voodoo and all sorts of folks that we got to meet out there, RC for All and everybody out there, those folks, but especially the guy that I was actually traveling with, Chris, but then also the vehicles. Yes, the hardest working man at Axialfest. I spent a lot of time bent over videoing small trucks. It's a pretty sight. But this truck is also something that I was there with. And before the event was over, we're sitting there dirty and sweaty and tired. And I looked to my buddy that I was there with, and I was like, I think I want to keep this thing. It performed so well, like so well. I so wanted to hate this truck. I really, really did. I really wanted to kind of hate the Gladiator. And I wanted to show how the Gen 8 and the TRX4 Sport were truly better than it at a lower cost. But I ended up just loving the truck so much. It went over and through so many obstacles that other trucks really struggled with. And it really kind of converted me to this long wheelbase. It's literally, I was literally tinkering with its body right here. So CJ, where I could have answered this initially was I borrowed it. And after having driven it, I bought it off my friend. Like, that's how much I ended up liking it. Was we were supposed to give it back. He was supposed to sell it. But instead, I ended up buying it off of him, and I've kept it to this day.
Nice. And we got another question from the chat. Christian RC, what is your favorite RC? Actually, a question we just hadn't asked you.
Yeah, we had.
Oh gosh, it's a 2-for-1. Look at that. So, see, Christian has to pay me for this question, not you guys.
Yeah, we'll deduct that one, and
forward the bill.
We'll get with HR right now, see how we're gonna do billing on that.
So the favorite, I don't really have one. I can't really say. I almost, the easy answer is the X-Max, because that was the one that got me back into RC. Right. So that's the easy answer. Yeah, and I think I have to go with the easy answer. Yeah, I don't know.
So let's split it up a little bit. What's your favorite crawler?
Yeah, probably still my TRX4 Sport. That thing astounds me what it goes over. I did a bunch of modifications to it. I actually bought it because I got really, really tired of going to, again, that Big Buddha's RC ranch that I go and do a lot of crawling at. I got tired of going out there with like my super custom Wraith and some like young kid in a box stock TRX4 Sport just driving over everything that my Wraith wouldn't go over. And so it's like, if you can't beat them, join them. And so I went and I bought a TRX4 Sport kit, and I assembled it, and I put the parts in it I wanted to, and I did a whole video series of all these upgrades I did to it. I love how it looks. It's got a wrap on it. I love how it looks, and I love pissing off folks who have fancier, more expensive crawlers when now I'm that kid that's just like and just driving over stuff that other folks can't.
Yeah.
But Troy, see, now you talked about your Wraith here briefly.
Yes.
Now you mentioned that it's heavily modified. Now, yes. I do remember you had a Spawn, okay, and then you turned it into an amazing Wraith, actually.
Yeah.
I think it has like the what is it, the shark bite or whatever you call it. It's blue. You put the droop kit on it, which that even gave me the inspiration to put the droop kit on my Axial Wraith. So now, is that your favorite RC? Because see, the thing is, when you have love on RC, you start tweaking on it, and you start modifying here and there. Wouldn't you say that's like your most modified vehicle right now?
It's probably not.
And if it's handy, I mean, feel free to show it if it's handy. I don't know.
The most modified one is that one that you're. I can't remember what it is. Your one son drives it all the time. It's that.
Yes, we call it the Mutt. Yeah.
Yes, the Mutt.
Mutt. There's nothing left of stock of any brand on it, and it's a mismatch of all the brands and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
No, Gabriel. So here's the thing. I don't have the Wraith anymore, and and it was a mistake. So I actually did part of a video on it. So we had a guy that we know. He trades RCs like he trades underwear, and he came rolling up to my house with an Outcast 8S and was like, "Troy, I want to trade you for your Wraith." And I was like, I was considering selling it because, again, trying to keep the total fleet to like that kind of, manageable number. And so I had been toying with the idea of selling it. But yes, you are right. That Wraith had a very special place in my heart because it's what got me into crawling. I loved how it looked. I mean, that thing was just mean looking. I loved it.
Yes, I agree.
It was like 3 different wraps all kind of combined into one and like all this. I mean,
military.
I had all this stuff. It was so cool, right? And in a moment of maybe good idea, maybe bad idea, potential weakness, potential whatever, I traded him for the Outcast. And again, here goes another couple hundred subscribers. I hated the Outcast 8S. Like compared to my X-Max was so much better than the Outcast. Outcast, except for pulling my kids in the snow. Outcast was better at that. I think it's because of weight, but weight and tires. But yeah. So I traded it for the Outcast 8S right there on the spot. Did a couple things to the Outcast, drove it a little bit, and then I was like, I don't like this Outcast, or I don't like it either. I don't like it at all, and so I ended up selling it. So yeah, I can't show it to you because it's gone. But yeah. But again, man, I'm trying not to get like emotionally. Yes.
Yeah, Rich D. Yeah, there you go. I'm with that.
Yeah, you guys don't realize. Go find the Rich D. He's commenting. Go find his channel real quick. Look, we'll pause. You guys go find his channel, subscribe, go back later, watch all of his videos. It's fun. He's a good dude.
And the thing is, you will not be disappointed. If you're looking for a guy that bashes, go to that channel. I am subscribed to that channel, actually.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah, see, look, everybody complains I don't bash enough anymore. So just take it as Roadside RC plus Rich D, and it's fine. You got everything you need.
Yep. I just subscribed.
There you go. Thank you. Good job. So
Troy, me as a subscriber, I'm not disappointed because by the end of the day, I understand that you just wanted to trade, you want to do something new, but again, I really wanted to thank you here live. I know I've thanked you even in the comment section. That Wraith that you had, it was a huge inspiration to actually upgrade my Wraith, and just watching your videos, all of the information that you had for that Axial Wraith, helped me to have my Wraith perform a lot better than what it actually does. And again, I'm thanking you here live, man. So I don't know if you want to bring a Wraith. I'm sure you can actually bring a Wraith to your channel maybe in the future. And Rich D is actually making you, do a what is it, a search and rescue or whatever. Yeah, man, we'll definitely look at that. So, but again, I highly appreciate.
You guys remember when RC Sparks was trying to find his lost drone in the bottom of the water with this submarine? It was 10 videos or something like that. It's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be me randomly driving around, silent tear, looking for my Wraith. It'll be high drama, lots of tension music.
So do you know the buddy you traded, or the local guy you traded?
Yeah.
Did he already? Has he gotten rid of the Wraith?
Oh, he got rid of it in a week. It wasn't. It was one of those things. I honestly, and Gabriel, you can understand. How much work I put into that thing. Is I was to the point where I was like, I think it's time for it to go find a new home, but I don't know if I could really sell it. You know, maybe I should just do like crazy giveaway on the channel and just somebody just gets the thing, you know? And then that way I know it goes to somebody who like would really want it and maybe appreciate it and all that kind of thing. And I traded it, and yeah, he sold it in like a week. Like he traded it off for something else. We saw it in like a for sale in a Facebook marketplace post like a couple months later, whereas, you know, 3 or 4 folks later were like selling it.
Oh boy.
No, what?
We got to find it.
Nah,
we got to find that.
It's all tiny toy trucks. We shouldn't get emotionally attached to tiny toy trucks. Not a thing. We have spouses and kids to do that for. It's fine.
All right, Gabe, you got another question?
Yeah, man. We have a list of questions. You know, we have a lot to pay here. You know, once we need to get with HR right now. So, okay. Let's go into the battery side, or I guess, not battery side. I guess just what is your connector of choice? Okay, so there's Dean's, the T plug, what they so called the Maya plugs. There's Castle plugs. There are EC5, 63s, XT60s, XT90s. Which one's your best one? Which one's your go-to?
Yeah, XT90. I XT90 almost everything. And I was like all XT90, and people made fun of me for it too, because like on my crawlers that have XT90s, and they're like, they don't need that big of a plug. I don't care. It's the same battery. I can use batteries across everything. I buy the plugs in like, you know, 20 counts, and then I can do everything. Sorry, we have really big, ugly horseflies here in Tennessee, and they're really loud and obnoxious.
No worries.
So so XT90, and so I put them on my drift car. I put them on my crawlers. I put them on everything, and people make fun of me. But then when we started getting into FPV drone stuff, we had a couple small ones, and XT90 was just really, really too awkwardly big for some of the small drones. So now I have a group of batteries that are XT60. So I just love the XTs in general because they're just really, really easy to solder, and they're easy for big old people fingers to get a hold of and unplug and stuff, and just makes life easy.
So that what you just said. So I've been a Dean's person pretty much forever. Yeah. Everything has had Dean's, and you know, like you, I've recently gotten into RC drag racing.
Yeah,
and, you know, I have a DR10.
Yep.
And then I have a cheap build that I'm converted one of my old buggies into a drag build, and you know, chasing time with that on 2S, trying, you know, I've done reading and been told, oh, you need to go to XT90, especially for RC drag racing, you know, than the Deans to get, you know, better voltage and all that. So I was like, all right, bought some XT90s, and oh my God, they are so easy to solder compared to a Dean's. Oh my God. Like it was like
so easy.
Wow. Like,
yeah. Why have you not been doing this the whole time? And just go do it. It's so easy. Yep. So
there's a very likely chance I will continue to convert over, possibly.
Yeah. Well, that's just everything.
If I can say something here.
Yeah.
If I can say something here briefly. Now, it is good and bad, you know, to have Deans or plugs, if you want to call it, into every single rig that you own. Now, let me explain a little more. If you put Deans on all your vehicles, just remember this, okay? And just because I experienced it, I witnessed it, you know, I tinker with it. If you're going to put a battery that is 4S and up on a Deans plug, don't do it. Why? Because a Deans plug can only hold so much current that if you put a Deans plug on a 4S, you're just going to melt the plug. Guarantee. Okay, that is a guarantee. I've done it. And your best choice will go XT90s or EC5s, whichever one of those. Okay, that is just something that I've learned. I learned the hard way. So yeah, I mean, I am a Deans person myself, but anything that is 4S capable or more, I go. Actually, my preference is EC5. Yeah, and it's not easy to solder, but my local hobby shop solders for me, so that's kind of cool. But
he doesn't solder anything. He does no soldering.
I don't.
At all.
I don't.
Everybody in this hobby needs a soldering iron and learn how to do it. Just do the thing. Just do it.
I don't.
Just do it.
I look. I bought a jig. I got flux. I got all of the things, and I just suck at it. So my go-to is my local hobby shop. Now I do support my local hobby shop.
Yeah.
You can, judge me all you can, but I let my local hobby shop solder for me. So then, end of story. If does RC Basherboi solder? No, he doesn't, and I'll never do it. So yeah, but yeah, the more you know about these
channel of all of his soldering stuff because he doesn't need it. New in the box, unused.
So a question just came to me that is not on our list, but
oh my gosh,
Gabe talking, just it made me think of this. So you're a family man, you're married, you have kids, and you have quite a few RCs. Has your wife ever held hostage any of your RCs?
I don't even know. I don't know how or why she would do this. Yes.
So I'm the only one. Okay.
So far, and it's sort of that was a cheap blow to Gabe. His girlfriend held hostage an RC here not too long ago. She actually kidnapped it to get what she wanted. So we don't let him forget that.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I missed that one somehow. Sorry.
Yeah. She knew which one to grab, and as soon as he come home, he knew it was gone. He's got 60 RCs, but he knew that one was gone.
Yeah, and as we were talking tonight, Troy, as far as which one's your favorite RC, if you're curious to know which one's my favorite, it is pretty much in the thumbnail. It is my SCX-10. That is highly modified. That actually even sleeps with me, not with me personally in the bed, but I just have it on top of my counter, my drawer. Okay, so I just walk up one night.
So we don't know what happens in the bedroom. Don't need to know. We can keep it outside of the bedroom. We're fine. I don't know you that well. I don't know you that well.
So anyway, so my girlfriend, she was asking me to, and I'll make it short, okay? So my girlfriend, she was asking me for the Sephora makeup, and I just said no. I said no. And she kind of got mad at me because she knows how much I spend on these RC vehicles. And one night, I came in and I noticed a big old spot that was empty. And obviously, that's where my SCX-10 sits, was gone. Okay. And, my girlfriend only has, the keys to my house. And I literally just called up like, hey, where's my truck? Literally. I didn't say, how are you? Hey, where the hell's my truck? It's like, well, Gabriel, I'm asking you nicely for the Sephora makeup. Like, okay, fine, I'll buy you the damn thing. Let me know where my truck is. Just don't do anything with it. I need it. Okay, so yeah, I went to my, mall and bought her the whatever. She got what she wanted, right? And I didn't care. Like, here you go, give me my damn truck. So yeah, there you go. So that was the story behind it.
And now she knows how. Now she knows it works too.
Yes,
and it does. She knows exactly where to point. Yeah, she knows exactly where to poke. So
yes, she does. You need an alarm on that one going forward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Or put a dummy in its place. Put a just like a roller chassis with like a similar body on it, and put a stand in a stunt double.
Yeah,
that would be good. Actually, that'd be a good prank.
That'd be pretty fun. Yeah,
yeah, it would.
He steals it. You just put another stunt double up there.
Right? Oh, I don't care about that one. You can keep it. I ain't buying you that makeup. This is pretty good. RC movie, dude. Where's my RC?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Nice. So a question that I sort of came up with earlier too. What events are you looking forward to over, say, the next 12 months, possibly attending? And obviously, you just went to Axialfest. Like you said, you had a ton of coverage and video from that. And I know you make a visit Buddha's RC Ranch, which I would love to get up there and check that place out myself. But But any other events over the next 12 months, excluding what we're dealing with in the world, that say travel's not an issue and all that good stuff? Any events you're planning to make?
The truth is I haven't. I've never actually gone to one of the big events until Axialfest, like one of the big like national things until then. What's currently on my list is again with Buddha's. They have of course regular events, but he has a couple really big ones, a Buddha Palooza, and then he has this crazy big 5-man crawler course, crawler comp thing in October. And so those are definitely two that are on my gotta go to list. After Axialfest this year, it is certainly on my list of like to go next year. I kind of have an in because it's basically the same weekend as my birthday if they keep it where it is, and so I can be like, "Hey, this is my birthday gift. I'm going to this thing," and so that's a good one for me to go to. And I've heard that the USTE down there in Florida is also really, really nice.
Yes.
And so that's also so having gone to Axialfest has made me want to go to more of these events that are around, and I always bookmark them. There's the RC Chaos event, RC Destruction Chaos event thing that happens, and there's the Horizon Fest, and the Recon G6 crew are always putting events on up there in Pennsylvania. There's all these events, and I'm always like, man, that'd be kind of fun to go to, but I never really pulled the trigger, and so. Hoping in 22 is that, round out 21 here with a couple of cool things, and then hoping in 22 maybe I hit one or two events.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously UST is close to me, and I've been now 2 years in a row, and can say it's phenomenal. I've watched most of your videos on Axialfest, and the big difference I would say obviously is you have a mix of vehicles.
Yeah.
But the trails are more, from what I can tell, more scale on the trail side. And you definitely see a lot more super scale vehicles. I mean, something you wouldn't even want to put in the dirt.
Yeah, the dollhouse vehicles that he makes, right?
Exactly. That kind of stuff. And I'm sure you witnessed this at Axialfest, just, the camaraderie with people. Like I met people the first year, met people from other countries, and just everybody is willing to help anybody. When I told you that story about the TRX4 and I broke it and I'm carrying it off the trail, I had 3 different people stop me and say, "Hey, you need tools? What do you need?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I got to go get a servo horn." Or, "Oh, sorry, I don't have that on me." People are just so willing to help out, and you meet people that you might not normally meet, and I'm sure you witnessed that probably at Axialfest as well.
For sure.
The amount of giving that I see at USTE is unreal. They give away so many RC parts and cars, and there's usually a few kids that weekend walking out with a brand new RC that's been given to them and stuff. So pretty phenomenal weekend. So if you can make it, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, very nice. And right down in that area, there's a Dory Lounge drift track. There's a couple cool things, of course, right in that area that I'd like to go check out. So I can maybe make it a multi-stop trip kind of thing.
Absolutely. So that'd be cool. Hopefully you can make it, because I'll definitely be there next year. I went the first year and I took advice from a local I was going to go for 1 day. He's like, go for all 3 days. I went the first year 1 day and instantly got there and was like, I made a mistake. So I was like, all right, I'm doing all 3 days, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm hooked. There's too many trails to do them all in 1 day. I mean, I've heard of one person who did all the trails in 1 day, but literally that's all they did is went from trail to trail to trail to trail, and they didn't see any of the other stuff going on. So
yeah. Gabriel, what about you out in your area? I'd like to get back out there, man. I love the Southwest of our country. It's such a beautiful area. It's so completely different than what I have here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I love that area. So I think there's like an AZ RC Fest or something that happens out there. There's something like that happens, and I'd like to be able to need to come out that direction and check some stuff out.
So I'm in Texas. Okay. Pretty much crawling. Pretty much Facebook. There is a here locally. There is a small group that I do attend, because my local hobby shop. They're not that they're hosting the meets or anything like that, but they're part of that group. But something big. Actually, I hear good stuff in Phoenix. Over there where Brett is, AC Frogs RC and more. I do hear some cool crawling events over there. But here in West Texas, especially where I live, no man, that is I'll tell you this, okay? I live, right here in the Franklin Mountains. There's a lot of trails. That you can just go there, just freestyle. But just somebody that hosting an event, no. But there is a lot to do here. I'll tell you that. There is plenty of rocks. There's plenty of dirt, sand. Snakes, coyotes. Yeah, all that.
All the day. So fun and death all together at the same spot. Okay, good. Yeah, I knew you were out that direction. I didn't know 100% exactly where you were, but I knew in that region for sure. When you leave Tennessee, there's this you got to get past. There's a big driving areas. You got to get past Oklahoma, and then everything to the left of that, or south and west of that, just feels like the Southwest to me. So out there.
Yeah. So the Southwest. I'll tell you this: the Southwest starts in Odessa, Texas. Okay, and I'm sure most of you, people coming from Dallas, Houston, or whatever. Yeah. Once you hit Odessa, Texas, welcome to the Southwest. Welcome to the desert. So, and I'm over here in El Paso, all there is here is just nothing but dirt, sand, rocks, and stuff. And see, and let me just tell you briefly how big Texas is. Okay, so even if you leave San Antonio, to San Antonio, you leave from El Paso to San Antonio. When do you know when you're actually close to San Antonio? Once everything is greener. So even that, okay. When are you leaving San Antonio is when everything just started to fade out, everything just died out, and sand, and that's when you're in El Paso.
Yeah, I lived in Fort Worth a little bit when I was a kid. Young kid, so it's not like I wasn't driving or I wasn't super familiar with Fort Worth at the time. Of course, I don't have a lot of memories of it, but I do remember. When I was in school and we're looking at the map of Texas and how big it is and all this kind of thing. And I remember the conversation of we just don't go to the West. It's like another country. It's a whole different place. We just don't
is.
That's one of the few things I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So.
All right.
So I have a question. Here. So we mentioned right now that, John has, his amount of RCs. I have my own amount of RCs, and you have 15. That is. Let me ask you this: so, what is your favorite go-to remote? I don't know if do you have a remote for every single RC, or you just have one for many? What's the situation? That do you have a favorite remote? Let us know.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm one of those super cheap guys that likes the ready-to-run controllers, unless like that one that we had from Arma for a while and from Horizon that was just dangerous. I forget
STX2.
the name. Yes.
STX2.
Gabe's favorite.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I hate it.
Except for that one. I'm normally just one. I'm very happy to use just the ready-to-run remote. Even we were talking about the Element earlier. It's ready-to-run remote. It's actually pretty nice. I find, especially for crawling, bashing, I'm going to be out there getting dirty. I'm going to drop the dang thing. I don't want some super fancy, very high-end remote in my hand as I'm out there, getting it dirty. I did that for a little while. So the first time I started to go into, I have a couple of the nicer Futaba remotes, 4-channel Futabas.
Fancy.
I started to go into that because of the drifting. It legitimately helps. You can actually set the car up differently and do something different in a rear-wheel drive drift car when you have a more sophisticated controller. And so I started. Oh, look at Hello RC 1400! Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very nice. And so I then for a while I had my nicer Futaba. I had it on my Creighton. And I even put it on I think a crawler at one point for a short period of time, and it just hurt. I came home from the bash day, and there's it's dirt and there's mud splatted on it and stuff, and I'm like, this thing's too expensive, for this. I'm too cheap, and this is too expensive for it to be kind of dirty. So I don't have a go-to remote. The newer Horizon Arma remotes are significantly nicer, I believe. I've been using some Dumbo RC 6-channel controllers like on my TRX4, and they do everything that I need them to do. So I'm a bad person when it comes to controllers. I am not a premium person unless I know for a fact that I need the premium.
Nice.
Awesome. Hey, that's fine. Cool.
Yep. Save yourself money.
So look,
for parts for other things.
And so you own 15. Okay.
Yeah.
You only have 15 remotes. I have 60. Imagine 60 remotes. So definitely I had to do something, with the remote clutter. I only have three Spectrums, which, I just buy a receiver and I just bind it to that.
Yeah.
But I guess once you reach like the 25 RC mark, you will literally say, boy, I need an extra space for all these remotes. And that's, when you have to simplify. And that's when you definitely have to get a fancier remote. So
So you're on the Spectrum bandwagon. What about you? What about you, John?
Yes.
So I have, for the most part, most of the stock remotes. Like my TRX4 Blazer is on a stock remote, which I like the TQI remote. I think it's a pretty good remote. Particularly, I like the cruise control on the remote. In fact, I plan to go out tomorrow to a trail and take that, and I picked that rig so I could use the cruise control while on the trail. And my Traxxas Max stays on that same. It has the same remote. Now I do have a FlySky GT3C remote that's been hacked, so I forgot how many can be put on it, and I currently have 2 rigs on that one. And I mostly have the stock remotes outside of that. I do intend to. I'm probably going to get another GT3C and put all my competition rigs on one, and then my trail rigs probably on the other for the most part.
Yeah.
I do like the idea, and I know you've got kids, so I'm sure that would play a little bit of a part in it. I do have a son, but tends to be he never wants to play with them. I like the idea of being able to go into USTE. I took 8 rigs with me last year.
Yeah.
And I offered rigs up. I offered to 11 Charlie. I said, hey, my TRX4 Blazer's here. If you got somebody who needs a rig for the weekend, it's ready to go. I do like that idea, just being able to throw a rig to somebody and not care. But I do like the GT3C radio, though. It's a nice radio for a good price. It's not very expensive.
Did you get the one with the rechargeable battery in it, or
Yes, has the rechargeable battery. So, and it lasts a long time on the battery.
I've had one for years and years and years that I've used. I see in the comments Sean's using the GT5, and I'll be honest, that one's nice. The GT5 is definitely a step up. My dad has that on his Gen 8, and I really do like that GT5. It makes me want to try the FlySky Noble at some point, but again, I'm too dang cheap. Now
I am looking at remotes. I am briefly. I'm probably not going to buy one for a little while, but I am looking at remotes because of the RC drag cars.
Yeah.
Now I have. AZ, I'll be in touch then. If you got one you might want to get rid of, definitely. I'm in. But when I first got into RCs a long time ago with my dang it, I done forgot the name of it. Why can't I think about my first RC, Gabe? The one you had.
The Evader.
The Evader, yes. My first hobby grade RC, yes.
Yeah.
When I was playing with it a long time ago, I have a Futaba. At the time, it was very expensive Futaba. That is sort of outdated at this point, but still a nice Futaba. So I have that one that my Evader is on, and I could put a few other rigs on it, and I might. But RC drag racing, playing with that, and in the act of trying to get faster, I've been looking at remotes a little bit because you can get some nice remotes. The Noble or whatever it is one. And I forgot the name of that other one, Swan M17 or something like that. Because you can, through the remote, you can set up stages, so you can limit the power, type thing. So at some point, I'm thinking I'm going to probably get one of those. I just don't know which one yet. So I'm like you. I'm cheap too. I don't like to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a remote. I mean, I did that way back and later realized like I spent way too much on that Futaba remote for what I needed. But granted, I still have it. So.
Yep, that is true.
Yep. And the RTR remotes have come a long way too. You know.
Yeah. I
mean the Ecto, that the remote that comes on, I didn't even realize it to begin with, but you've got that extra channel. Like, I mean, and that switch on the front of the is it on the front right there? Yep. Yeah. Like, so you could put a winch on that. You know, I mean, that they targeted competition people perfectly with that rig.
Yeah, they really, really did well. And yeah, you know, this is certainly not a super expensive controller by any stretch of the imagination. Right. Yeah, like you said, you got the switch up here, you got endpoint settings for that third channel. Like, I looked at this and I was like, dang, like I had very low expectations, and this thing's actually going to be pretty nice.
Yep, and I have basically that same remote without the third channel on my Trail Walker, and I'm still using it on that, and I compete with that. I haven't had any issues with it, you know, in competition or anything. I've put a lot of use in it. Actually, I used it at UST this past year, and the first day it rained, and you know, it got wet and didn't give me any problems. So
yeah, very cool.
Yep. So we sort of talked about tires earlier, but right now, your tire of choice for crawling.
Yeah, it goes between, you know, you and I had a mutual love fest for the TRX4, the Canyon Trails, right?
Yep.
So I can't remember if that was before we got started or not, but yeah, you know, I've got a host of those. I enjoy them. I think they're a really, really good tire especially for the price, no doubt. You know, once you cut them, but it's all you got to cut the things, and I don't know how it unleashes the magic when you cut them. Lets the magic pixie dust out. I don't know what it does, but somehow you cut those things and it makes a big difference. I've done a couple times. I've probably done 3 or 4, I think, different tire tests where I just get everything that I have and I just go and compare them. And you know that the standard TRX4 tire continues to come out either on top or very close once cut. But you know, we talked about the Ecto. It has those Proline trencher crawler tires on it. And, you know, a lot of folks like the Hyrax. You know, there's a lot of folks that like the Hyrax. In my area, if you're in the dry, the Hyrax does really well. But as soon as it gets any kind of muddy, any kind of tackiness to it, it seems like it clogs up. It has those little thin, like really like, you know, shallow grooves in it.
Yep.
Just clog up and it seems like it doesn't do as well. The trencher doesn't have that. And so it doesn't seem like it has that issue from a pattern standpoint. And so, you know, if I go to purchase one, that trencher is probably going to be the tire that I purchase, unless I just want something that looks more aggressive, because I don't feel like it has that like big, bold, mean, like aggressive look to it. You know, it's a fairly tame looking tire. So yeah, I love the yes. Hello, OCD's definitely got that right. Tires are not the best. I would say I still want to try some more tires from the Team Ot 6, the Voodoos that are out there. You know, they're really hot right now on the drag racing side. A couple friends that I have that have been much more serious about crawling for much longer than I have been swear by some of their crawling tires and say that they're truly, really are the best. So I would like to get
one of them, Troy, I don't know if you heard of them, but Pitbull. Have you ever heard of Pitbull tires?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very impressed, you know, with some of the Pitbull tires, you know, that they make as well. So.
Yeah, and that might be a little bit more kind of your terrain versus mine. I know there's a lot of folks in my area that have tried them and have not come away with as good a success. I have one pair that I had. It's not one of their more popular, like their Rock Beasts. I have one of their other brands that they have out. I have one set of theirs that never really did that good until I just got frustrated and just cut the heck out of them. And then all of a sudden they got a little bit better for me. But yeah, I really like I'm pretty happy with those Proline trencher crawler tires and the TRX.
Sweet, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was impressed with the trenchers when I drove them on the Ecto that Exocage RC has. So, and AZ Froggies has a question. Are you thinking of coming to AZ for RC Fest?
I don't know, man. You said it was in October. Maybe not this October. We'll have to see how the world is going for that kind of a travel. It's a long way from Tennessee, but I keep seeing it advertised, and it certainly seems like it's a pretty cool event. And so I would like to get to it at some point. Will it be 2021? Maybe not. But yes, I'd like to get out there at some point. And hey, it'd be cool to see you while we're out there.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and Sean, I've never tried any stock G-made tires, so I'd have to get a hold of some of those and give them a shot.
RC 4-wheel drive as well makes some, okay tires, I guess I should say.
Yeah, that's always kind of how it comes out, and they had those Mickey Thompson Baja X or whatever that just look just so mean. And then everybody that I've ran into that's tested them have been like, well, they're just not that good. It seems like their tires look great, but maybe the performance isn't 100% there, or we're just getting the wrong ones. Yeah, October 15th and 17th. All right.
And I hear the same thing, about RC 4-wheel drive. I guess it's just more of a scale look tire.
Correct.
But performance wise, yeah, it's another story.
Yeah, so. Which is really too bad because man, they look so good.
Yeah, exactly.
On, guys,
I rock some what is it, the 2.2 iRocks, I think that's what they're called, the Super Swampers.
Yeah.
For my 2.2 well, my S16 I made it 2.2, and that's where the Super Swamper iRocks come in from RC 4-wheel drive. Yeah. And they do okay. I mean, they don't do phenomenal, but it's one of those things that it's okay.
Yeah. And it's really hard for me, right? If I'm going to pay money, like I get a little bit more pride out of my truck being capable than it being like super scale detailed. That's me. I know everybody's different, so I'm not hating on anybody, but that's just how I am. And so it's really hard if I'm going to spend roughly the same amount of money and it's going to be just less performance but more scale, or I'm going to spend the same amount of money and it's going to be less scale and more performance. I'm going to, it always pulls me over to that side. So
yeah,
I'm with you.
That's too I am.
Like I love the scale stuff. I like my Gen 8 has an interior and a person in it. Technically, the steering wheel can turn and stuff, which is cool. But one, I don't have the patience to do like what Sean does. Like I think it's awesome. I love the looks of that kind of stuff. I don't have the patience to do it, or the skill for it.
Well, my issue is I'm too rough on stuff. I get out there and I want to get up this. If it's crawling as an example.
Yep.
I want to get up and over this obstacle, and I'm scraping my body up, and I'm doing all this kind of stuff, and so it hurts if you. It hurts.
I remember when you did the the overdrive on your TRX4. I think you did overdrive and underdrive. I'm not sure, but you have like this little technical course. I think it's in your backyard where you have like these rocks set up.
Yep.
And oh man, I know you. I do feel it. Like, you know what? Come on, go up. You're telling yourself, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the mirrors being smashed and the bodies being scraped with that new wrap I just put on there, and I'm like, but I can't stop now. But
keep going.
I gotta know if it's gonna go up, but it's scraping it all. It's destroying it, but I gotta see if it's gonna go up it or not.
Let's talk about your backyard course, because that's sort of new in a way. Like, y'all had really like a really small thing for a while, and it's grown quite a bit here. I don't know, last 6 months, I guess.
Certainly during the pandemic and all that. Fortunately, it was already in process before then.
Yeah.
And actually, it hasn't. Unless you look closely at the Ecto videos that I've put out, you won't know it's actually changed pretty dramatically.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, he added
Yeah, and I need to go do like a refresh, like, hey, this is the course, this is what it all is. But we had a garden shed back there that part of the course was behind the garden shed or around it, and it was falling down. I mean, it was literally at like a 20-degree angle or something like that. I mean, it was a hazard, and so I got it torn out. New garden shed put in. Of course, it's a little bit different size, shape, position, all this other kind of thing. And see, look, Sean's exactly that. See right there. That's wisdom. You see the wisdom down here at the bottom of the screen? That's the wisdom.
Especially when the doors open and close. Imagine. Oh boy.
The windows roll up and down, and now you chop them. See, I can't do that. See, I can't do that stuff, man. It kills me when that happens. But yes, so yeah, John. So it's been revamped to some degree. I'm not super happy with how it is at the moment. Some areas are a little bit too tough. Some areas are just a little bit too easy. So I'm still kind of trying to tweak it a little bit. But it's really, really freaking hot outside right now. And so a bunch of time out there working on it.
Understand that completely.
Yeah, I need to do a refresh. I want to finish a couple things on it, and then I want to do a refresh. But it's fun. I can have some friends over. We can crawl together. That's cool. But really, I've appreciated it more than anything for the ability to know that I have specific obstacles, and I know how my trucks go over those obstacles, so that when I do a modification, I can see clearly, like, did it do anything or not?
Exactly.
And so I get the Ecto, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to put overdrive in it. Let's go drive it beforehand, and let's go drive it afterwards and see, did it really make a difference?
And you ain't got to drive 45 minutes away to go do that and then come back home and do the mods and drive back. Like, totally understand. Like, it makes videos much easier.
Well, and then, like, one of the pieces is I have this one part that I call the impossible wall, because it's RC, it's big for an RC. It's a kind of a straight up. It's actually kind of undercut a little bit. So when you get your front tires up, the rear tires kind of suck in under, and it's just really, really hard. But we talked about the Gladiator, and as an example, so I have a lot of, like, no stock vehicles get up the impossible wall. And when I did my full build with the TRX4, it was long into the build process before the TRX4 could ever, usually with a fortunate bounce, make it up that wall. And
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah,
that's in the front yard, right?
Yeah, it's actually in the front. Yep. And Gladiator, like, first drive, like, stock, just like blip, just straight up it. I was like, well, that's just ridiculous. That's just that little bit extra wheelbase just helped it in that situation.
Yes.
But there are other things that, there's other things that, like the TRX4 and the Gen 8, go up without even, like, you don't even think about it. They just go up it. And this thing just sat there and looked at it. It just spun its tires and didn't do anything, So it's really handy for that. And if anybody really is wanting to get serious into crawling, I do suggest that you find it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Probably the biggest and elaborate one is the exo cage one, right? I mean, that thing's crazy. It doesn't have to be that big. It just makes a couple small things that you can hit, how the truck goes over them, so that when you do make changes, you can see, like, did it really make a difference or not?
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to second guess any money that you spent on your RCs, and you want to think that they have all made things better, because you don't test anything.
Right.
No, but I found, well, I don't currently technically have my backyard course anymore at the current moment because I moved. It technically still exists. It's still the old place. But the nice thing is sometimes I just want to go out and crawl for 10 minutes and relax, before dinner or whatever. And you just go in the backyard for a few minutes, crawl real quick, just relax, think about all the BS going on, forget about the BS going on, and just relax in the RCs for a few minutes. It was always nice. I definitely miss having my backyard course right now.
Well, get busy.
Yeah. Well, where I'm currently at, I can't. So,
okay.
Unfortunately, I'm renting right now, and I can't. So it's a hurt, which also changes how I have to do videos too. Like, I have to put more thought and time into, okay, when I go out, obviously not go out and record one video, plan to go out and record at least 2 or 3 videos, or content for 2 or 3 videos. So it definitely changes how I have to think about recording videos now.
Well, and that goes back also to where, you talked about, I'm not doing as much bashing and stuff along those lines. I feel RC drag racing is a little bit of the same way. I can crawl in my yard. I can drift in my garage if I really want to. RC drag racing is very weather dependent and very surface dependent and, and all this other kind of stuff. So it's very, you can't just be like, I'm going to go do it tonight, and run off and do it as easily as maybe you could do some of the other stuff like you're talking about.
Yeah, I will say that I've gotten, I guess, lucky in that regards. Well, lucky and unlucky. I'm in Florida. It rains like every friggin' day. So, especially in the afternoons. Good thing is, I mean, even though the surface right in front of my place isn't the best surface, I've been able to get my rigs to hook up on it. So if I really need to go out there and just do something real quick, I can. But I can literally drive down the street, a minute down the street, and I have a parking lot that's good surface. And so that's the one thing I'm liking about the RC drag racing is I can go out there. I've got the GNSS.
Mm-hmm.
I can go out there. I can play, tune, tweak, make runs, whatever. Sort of like having the backyard course in a way and just play. And regardless if I'm even like, I'd go out there and actually just play for my own, self more than even videos. Honestly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Make tweaks, swap out pinions and just play. Actually, I'm probably the worst. Like I have done so much to my drag cars that I haven't recorded just because I'm impatient. And I used to do a lot of drag racing when I was younger as road cars. So like, I'm like, I know I can do this and, go out and play and tweak and all this. And I never record, but I enjoy it. So,
hey, this is, like we said, this is us playing with tiny trucks. These are toys. Same thing with YouTube, man. I don't know about you. I'm not making a living off of this, and so I gotta do it when I enjoy it. There are definitely times in which I just don't feel like bringing the camera, like not gonna do it. That's just life. That's this is all for fun.
Absolutely, definitely.
Is the chat actually going here? Are we actually doing something? Oh man, Kevin's leaving us. All right, Kevin. Hey, have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, Kevin. Thanks for stopping in.
Good
night. So what's your choice for a crawler motor?
I go with the Holmes Hobby, the 550 size. I like the 550 Torx. I tend to run the 21 turn. I tend to use the Hobby Wing 1080 ESC. Right? I think we argued this one time. I think on the tank live stream. Where there's not really a good use for brushed motors anymore, except for in crawling. And people didn't like it when I said that. But, I've tried. I have one truck with the Hobby Wing Fusion in it. I put it actually in my TRX4 just to try it because so many people talk about how much better it is for crawling. I did a video.
That is a popular motor, I got to say.
Yeah, sir. I mean, certainly, and it does well. And it's, it is one of those things where is it technically better than the Hobby Wing 1080 with a Holmes? I just do the simple Holmes. What is it? Rail Master, Crawl Master, whichever one's the green one.
Trail Master.
Yeah, $20, 21 turn. I put it in everything. It's $20. The 1080 ESC is like 40, 45. It is really hard to beat that combination for a crawler.
Agree.
It's so hard, and the Fusion's good. Is the Fusion like doubly good? I don't know, man. I don't know. Now Axialfest did make me think a little bit twice about this because it was so muddy that there was multiple times, especially with the Gravedigger, because I used the Gravedigger as my mud truck. There were so many times in which it got so full of mud that it wouldn't run, and we had to push it around like a Tonka truck to pump some of the mud out of the motor so it would start going again. And I was like, man, a sealed brushless system at this point would be pretty nice. I wouldn't have to worry about this. So I could see if somebody was really getting into a lot of mud and muck and dirt and that kind of stuff, where I could definitely see that being a big influence to sway on the Fusion side. But for where I am, a lot of times when I'm going through water or something like that, it's pretty clean water. It doesn't phase the brushed motor at all.
Yeah. So I love Holmes motors and the 1080 as well. I think they're phenomenal. I specifically, and if you've never tried one, I would highly recommend it. It's the same price, but the Holmes Hobby Crawl Master sport motors, the red ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 21 turn Trail Master and a 27 turn Trail Master,
Yeah.
but they're sitting for the most part because once I tried the Crawl Masters, I'm like, the 5 slot, how smooth they are.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal, and I've put some serious miles on some of those motors. Now I also have a Fusion that I got just fairly recently and put in my TRX, or not my TRX, put it in my 6x6.
Mm-hmm.
From a crawling standpoint and competition, what I will say the Fusion's better at is the drag brake. You can't beat that drag brake. Over a brushed motor. Not that I'm complaining, about I in my stage class 2 truck has a Crawlmaster Sport and a 1080. I love it and I don't plan to change it. But man, I just put that thing on a heel and it just sits there and it does not move. Once you dial in the settings on it. But I definitely like the Fusion. Would I put it in all my rigs? No. I wouldn't, but it's definitely a good rig. And you can't beat the 1080 ESC. You can't. It's and Hello RC says he has the Crawlmaster 8 turn with the 1080 and the Ecto. Unbelievable for the price, and I completely agree with you. That 8 turn Crawlmaster that's the place. And with that 1080, I love that 8 turn Crawlmaster Sport motor. Phenomenal.
Yeah, see, that's one that I guess so many people prove me wrong, but I think on the 1080 it actually says in the instructions to not go below a 16 turn motor or something.
So yes, but here's the thing. The difference being is if you're talking about a 3-slot motor, yes, absolutely. The Crawlmaster Sports are a 5-slot motor. It now changes.
Gotcha.
So that 8-turn Crawlmaster 5-slot is probably equivalent to somewhere between 16, 21 turn 3-slot.
Gotcha.
And I've been running that 8-turn Crawlmaster Sport on a 1080 for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a great motor. It's got good wheel speed. It has a better holding capacity on the drag brake than like that 21 turn 3-slot. The 3-slot versus 5-slot. Smooth startup. Great motor. And like I said, prices. Basically $60 a motor and an ESC that pretty much should last forever.
Yes. You just can't beat it. It's so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, Holmes and Hobby Wing, don't raise the price on those. That'd make us very sad. Please just
right.
Don't listen to us right now and be like, yeah, we're gonna jack the price up $10 on this. Please.
Yeah. And he's a great person. I met him 2 years ago at UST. Super knowledgeable and super nice. So and makes a great product. So, Gabe, you got any more questions?
Yeah, actually, and I guess this will probably be the last question of the night because we're about 1 hour 56. So this is a general question here, Troy. So any updates to the channel, anything new to the channel, anything in general that's gonna happen in your channel? Would you like to let us know, enlighten us with any just content in general, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. So, continuing down the crawler stuff, expect a little bit more ramp up on the drift things now that we have a drift track open again in Nashville. And so definitely going to go into that. That's going to be pretty good. I have one fun one, which I need to do. So I need to figure out, I won a Granite from Bars and Tones RC.
Really?
It's been a while, actually. Yeah, I won. It was a Granite Mega, brushed Mega. One from his channel, and one of the things I said is I ran my mouth and I said, hey, if I win it, I'm going to give it back away. And it's literally sitting right here on the floor collecting dust. I got it. I put a new servo in it, Zuske servo in it, and then I put a brushless setup in it. So I converted it over to brushless, put a better servo in it, did all this stuff to it, had a blast. And Granites are a really super fun truck. But I need to give it away somehow. And I can't. I'm really struggling with how I want to give it away in some fun way. And I can't figure out how in the heck I'm going to do it. I've thought about
send that on tour like me.
Well, that's one of the things I thought about. I thought about doing it on like a tour like you do. I thought about kind of a Driftomaniacs challenge, because I love those challenges. Anytime somebody puts out a challenge, I'm like I'm gonna try it. So I love those. So I thought about doing it in that regards. I thought about a couple different things like that, but I just keep stumbling across. I keep looking at the truck and I keep going, man, I need to give this thing away, but I want to do it some way special, and I haven't figured out how to do that. So if anybody has any ideas, I would love to hear it.
Challenge. I like the challenge idea. I think the challenge idea is a good one. I've enjoyed, and I haven't looked into it enough, but when I've seen your videos, when you've done these different challenges, I'm like, man, I should check into that. Maybe I should do it, and I never have. Yeah. But I definitely like the idea of the challenge, because I find those interesting for sure. I mean, what you were talking about earlier with the drifting thing, and possibly like sending a drift car out, a setup drift car. I think that's a great idea also, but of course that's different than this way you're talking about. I think a challenge of some sort would be the way to go. Yeah.
And what I've learned, though, in general, so this is I don't know if other people that have done giveaways have learned the same thing. You do giveaways, and basically you just make about half your audience mad. That's why I used to do a lot more giveaways on the channel, and I've actually stopped some because of how much just utter hate comes out of them. Like I'll say back at the start of the pandemic, or first quarter last 2020, I knew that some of my local hobby shops and stuff were struggling, and I knew some folks local were struggling. And so I was like, look, I'm going to go and I'm going to specifically I bought a Gen 8.
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it away locally at one of the local events, right? The amount of hate I got on my channel for people saying, oh, well, we support you here, and I live in, name place, doesn't matter. I live somewhere else. So I guess, this one's not for me. And I guess, I got so many of those comments that I was just kind of like, why do I even do this if all I'm going to get is hate back for it, And so I think no matter what we do, we're going to get some kind of hate in some regards. And
absolutely. Unfortunately.
I try to ignore most of it and just go on about life, but it has put a little bit of damper on the giveaway. So I don't know if you've seen, sometimes I think it's kind of fun to do some of the little small, cheaper, exactly.
Yep.
Z Frog, he's leading me in. He's leading the witness here, right? So, I get some of those small $50, $100,
hell boxings.
Yes.
I have a few of those myself.
I get some of those, and what I've done is I've started taking them with me to skate parks and stuff. And I love just giving away, just make some little kids just freaking so happy,
No, absolutely. I love that you've done that. I've seen you do that in a couple of videos, and I think that's awesome. And those hellboxing RCs, I mean, they're not the same level as obviously, the Traxxas X Max and all that stuff, obviously, but I have two, and they're stout for what they are.
They're really fun. I mean, I did this video that got no love whatsoever, but it was this little Hosum. I think it's 16th scale. I can't remember which, but it's actually a brushless version of one of those small little trucks. And I did a couple little videos with it around the house, but I was like, just kind of like the death of the X Max video. I'm like, I am taking it to the skate park and I'm going to destroy this thing. It's going to just be it's going to be a destruction video. It's just going to be fun. We're just going to go have at it. And I ran it on 2S for a whole battery, just full throttle sends, doing just ridiculous stuff, just stupid stuff, just ignorant, stupid stuff with the truck. And it just kept coming back for more. The body cracked and some stuff like that, but it just kept driving. Yes, the Gateway RC. And I let Rich D borrow a couple of them, and he put a video out with them also. So so then I eventually put 3S in it, because I was like, I am going to destroy this thing. And it just wouldn't die. It drove away from the skate park after multiple batteries of just, little 16th scale truck, just full throttle send out of a bowl. Just see if it lands, and it drove away. So I feel like, kind of to AZ Froggy's comments there, I'm always a little bit more hesitant when it comes to okay, now I have a brushless granite. I'm those little 16th scale cars usually brushed. 16th, 18th, there's a 12th scale, a couple of like those that I've given away, usually brushed. So if I see some kid that, some younger kid that I don't know how they're going to use it, I don't know what kind of parental oversight they're going to have, I still feel pretty comfortable giving them one of those because there's only so much damage you can do with one of those, right?
Exactly.
You run that.
You're not going to knock a human being down with one of those hell boxings.
Yeah. You full throttle blast it into your ankle, like you're going to hurt, but you're not going to be broken.
Yeah.
And with the Granite, it's a little bit different. It's not like, man, especially now that I got it brushless, like that thing's going to hurt somebody if you give it into some kid without, who's never driven RC before and doesn't have any parental like oversight. So I feel a little more guilty about like just handing that to just some random person. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll figure something out with it, but I need to give it away. So if anybody has any ideas,
we'll definitely be tuned in, man. We'll definitely be tuned in. So.
Yeah, that's right. You got to do something with it.
Yep. So I want to thank you, obviously, for joining us. I think it's been awesome. Definitely learned some stuff, and definitely you have to do a video on the Chevelle.
If we walk away with nothing else from the last 2 hours, that's what we're walking away with.
A video on the Chevelle. A burnout has to happen.
The police officer rolls up behind me. I'm like, dude, it's not my fault. I had to. There was a thing.
These guys on the internet said I had to do it. Yes, definitely. And I definitely look forward to an update on the course. Like I said, I did notice. I was like, wait a minute, there's some new things on the course. I definitely noticed that in the Echo.
I noticed that as well. Yeah.
So I look forward to that. Obviously, anybody watching, if you don't already follow this channel, you should be. Roadside RC. He really does everything. Racing, drifting, bashing, crawling.
Product review videos and how-tos. Yeah,
yes. He's done drone stuff, done RC drag racing, like really, truthfully, every bit of it.
We're here to have fun. Let's play.
Yep, definitely. And definitely see some great stuff. And he does good stuff. Like I said, giving kids, even if they're the cheap RCs, I mean, that's how you get them started. Mm-hmm. They got to learn somewhere.
Yeah, so, gateway RC.
Yeah. So I enjoy his channel, enjoy watching it. And I've been enjoying the Ecto build behind you because I really, that rig is impressing me. And I want one, and I'm trying to keep myself from buying one, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think I'm going to end up doing it.
And this is coming. This is coming. The Independent Princess. Hey. So when I first got it, right, I know that they offer this kit. This is my first Element crawler. So I knew they offered this, and so in the unboxing first drive video, I asked everybody like, hey, what is up with the IFS? Is it good? Is it bad? What are your takes on it? And it was divided right down the middle. Half the people are like, oh, you got to get it. It's so great. The other people are like, it's the dumbest idea for a crawler we've ever seen. So I said, well, if there's that much confusion out there about it, I've got to get one. And I'm going to put it to the test, right? I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to put it on. We're going to show how we put it on. And then I'm going to test before and after, pre-post, right? Backyard crawler course thing. I'm going to test right before and after and see, like, is it really better? Is it worse? If it's worse, then, hey, we might be able to give somebody independent suspension.
I'm going to bite my tongue and wait for the video.
Yes, exactly, right? Everybody, it seems like this is not something where folks have they're ambivalent about it. It's a love-hate. It's a complete love-hate situation for some reason. So we will be very curious to see how it works out.
Yep.
Cool. See, now on that note, okay. Again, I really want to thank you, coming into our show tonight here, Troy. And now that you mentioned, you wanted to do the independent front suspension to your Element RC, the Ecto. You are the channel, okay. Honestly, you are the channel that if you have any curiosity of, how does overdrive, underdrive, any, RC crawler upgrade that there is, I think you covered it mostly, really. So I've honestly, anything that I see that looks more of an upgrade or whatever, I go to your channel. Okay. So I highly appreciate, you you use the time, you use your knowledge, to put all this information into your channel. And I personally, I enjoy it, and having you here, tonight is truly an honor. Okay.
Hey,
So,
man, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for those kind words, man. I really appreciate it. A lot of this, it's always a surprise to see what some folks, really love that stuff. A lot of it just comes out of my natural curiosity, right? I think this is a great example. Half the people love it, half the people hate it. I don't know. Let's just see. I mean, it's not. Please don't take it as I'm some kind of wizard or expert or something like that. I'm just gonna test it and tell you what I think and tell you and try to do it as best in the way I can. So I appreciate those words, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, hey, man, you got it. No, that it's well deserved, man. I gotta say,
Absolutely.
And again, I highly enjoy your content, and again, it's truly an honor to have you here. So.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been fun. I think this has actually been quite entertaining.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. Is there anything you would like to say to anybody watching before we sign out tonight?
Man, I guess thanks to everybody. If anybody came on, if this is their first time over to the live stream here on the Saturday nights, please consider coming back. Thanks to both of you for having me on. It's been pretty fun. I've enjoyed it. So maybe I've talked too much.
No, and also, man, don't be a stranger. Okay, we also do. We do questions for RCs. We do interviews like coming for you tonight, and we have open panels as well. So don't be a stranger. Feel free to come in, even on chat or any future shows. Let us know, man. We're definitely here. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, and I hope I look forward to hopefully in the near future some point. Obviously being able to meet in person. Maybe I can make it up to Buddha's Ranch. To get up there.
That'd be awesome.
Or maybe if you can make it down to UST even, so that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
So I look forward to that. Thank you again for being on. I've enjoyed it. Learned a lot. I mean, I learned a lot about the Chevelle, which just made me fall that much more in love. I love cars, and I just fell that much more in love with it from some of the stuff you told us about it. So I think that's awesome. And love your content and everything. Again, thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for joining the chat and hanging out with us and asking questions and even making us laugh in some instances. Appreciate it. And Gabe, I'll let you close us out.
Yeah, so definitely. So thanks for tuning in. This Saturday evening for Let's Talk RC. We have an awesome, interview here with Roadside RC. I enjoyed it myself. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it too. They're at home. Hopefully, you guys are also having a great Saturday, great weekend. And go out there. If there was any information that was helpful to you guys, go out there, implement it, use it, and have fun. This is what this hobby is all about. Okay, go out there, have fun, and and also, we do have the chat open. If you went out and RC'd, yesterday, today, 2 days ago, if you had any awesome story, let us know in the chat. We're also reading the chat. And let us know about your awesome, epic RC adventure. And so tune in next week for Let's Talk RC, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're doing this, on the weekly basis every Saturday evening. So don't miss out. And also subscribe to JMHRC, myself, RC Basherboi, and Roadside RC.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah, we're.
Yes. Thank you for getting me over 700 tonight, guys. I appreciate it.
And we reached the 700 subscribers, which is awesome. We didn't reach the 900. I was I had my local hobby shop on speed dial to see if we were going to get this RC. But hey, if we reach 900 subscribers, hey, why not? We'll talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Had a good one, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Take it easy.
We'll see you later.
Thank you, folks.